Coming up on Lindenwood News, a St. Louis sheriff's deputy was carjacked. We have the latest on the dramatic turn of events. Plus, a string of burglaries in St. Louis may all be connected. We will tell you more about the crimes that are plaguing the city. And St. Louis dedicates millions of dollars to the arts. We will tell you who is getting all that cash. Those stories and more ahead on Lindenwood News. Welcome to this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Ava Lawrence. Two teenage boys who stole a woman's Kia are found suffering from gunshot wounds Monday afternoon. Police say the boys were among 5 juveniles who stole the woman's car around 3 p.m. in North St. Louis. The woman began tracking her car to a gas station on Florissant Avenue. The woman and a friend tried to prevent the car from leaving, but she heard gunshots and took cover. The car fled and was later found near Glenborough Drive in St. Louis County. That's where she saw a 14-year-old suffering from gunshot wounds. A 16-year-old was also shot and taken to the hospital. Another man was shot in North St. Louis after carjacking an Amazon delivery driver. Police say the incident happened near Cinema Lane in Sunset Hills while the driver was taking a package to a house. The victim says 4 men got out of an SUV and into a BMW and drove away. The woman and her son-in-law used a GPS to track her car down. The son-in-law then shot the driver of the stolen BMW in the leg. 2 adults and 1 juvenile were arrested. Police say the son-in-law is likely to face charges for the shooting. A St. Louis sheriff's deputy was carjacked and robbed early on Tuesday morning. Police say the deputy was parked outside of an enterprise center a little after midnight when 2 suspects came up to him holding guns. Authorities says the suspect told the deputy to get out of the car. They stole the deputy's weapon and phone before driving off in his car. Police are still looking for the 2 suspects and the stolen car. Straight ahead on Lindenwood News. A St. Louis area snake show is shut down after one of its stars goes missing.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
All right, let's try this.
COVID has been a really long fight, and it's been especially tough on kids.
It's been a rough transition for all of us.
Right now, as a father, I want to give the best tools to protect my kids.
So what can we do to get back to that sense of normalcy?
Many parents are asking if it is worth it to get their kids vaccinated against COVID.
The answer is absolutely yes.
My own sons, who are 6 and 8 years old, had their COVID vaccine.
It's an added layer of protection to keep kids from getting any type of severe illness or complications from a COVID infection.
A lot of parents are also wondering if the vaccines are safe.
Yes, it's safe and effective for children.
Definitely safer than a COVID infection.
Children get a smaller dosage than adults do.
So if you have questions or concerns about the vaccine, that's okay.
We're here to help.
We have the tools we need to protect kids and help them stay healthy and all get through this together.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
There were several dozen sex offender violations in St. Louis County on Halloween night. The police chief says of the 161 sex offenders checked, over 25 were in violations. Police do checks every Halloween to make sure sex offenders are in compliance with Missouri statutes. These statutes require sex offenders to stay away from children on Halloween. Police want to remind the public to be alert during the holiday season. Missouri residents who had flash flood damages in July have just one more week to apply for federal aid. FEMA is in the last week of the federal assistance program for St. Louis residents. They will also be closing its last 2 disaster recovery centers next week. St. Louis residents have just 1 week left to apply for grants related to the damages. But if you live in Illinois, 2 FEMA disaster centers opened last Friday in the Metro East at the Clyde Jordan Senior Citizen Center and Caseyville Village Hall. You can also start the application process online at disasterassistant.gov or by calling 800-621-3362. A St. Louis brewery is accused of violating labor federal standards. The U.S. Department of Labor is accusing Rockwell Beer Company of violating labor laws by allowing a manager to get tips. This violation resulted in the brewery not being able to pay its bartenders the minimum wage and time and a half for hours worked over 40 hours in a week. The Labor Department is seeking the defendant to pay back wages and damages to the employees. Security concerns are growing over the increase of burglaries in St. Louis. The St. Louis police believes the same group of people are burglarizing businesses in the city. Authorities say over 20 businesses have been hit this past 2 weeks. They say there has been thousands of dollars in damage in the crimes. The police think the crimes are connected and are currently working on tracking down the suspects. The Missouri Snake Show Venom Fest was shut down after a cobra disappeared. The 2-day show was canceled on Sunday after a deadly Egyptian cobra went missing. A vendor found early that morning that the snake container had been moved and was empty. The event organizer says the snakes were not allowed off their sealed containers for any reason. Police believes the snake was more likely stolen than escaped.
Cool breezes are set to stay for the rest of the week, but the weekend is looking a little too rainy to stay outside. I'll have your full weather forecast after the break.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive.
The last few days of warm weather are upon us. Let's take a look at the national map to see what's heading our way. We're going to have some stronger winds heading our way later Wednesday, followed by a low pressure system, which could lead to clouds later Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. After that, there's a stationary front heading our way from the west coast, which could lead to a long day of rain in the near future, probably near the end of the week and into the weekend. Meanwhile, in the East Coast, states like Maine and New York are getting hit by cold fronts that should push past the states later Wednesday. Wednesday, it is 74 degrees all over St. Louis and St. Charles area, as well as Maryland Heights. It's a bright and sunny day across Missouri Wednesday. No need to worry about rain ruining a night out or an afternoon walk. O'Fallon and St. Peter's are just 1 degree higher, reaching 75 degrees. There's a light 5-mile-per-hour wind coming up from the south that will provide a nice, cool breeze for the rest of the day. And finally, let's take a look at the rest of the week and the upcoming weekend. The next 3 days look to be great for outdoor activities, with the highs being in the upper 70s, almost reaching 80 degrees for Friday, with the lows being in the mid-50s and 60s. Unfortunately, Saturday will be the low point of the next few days, as it will drop to 60 degrees, with the low all the way down at 44 degrees. Expect rain throughout most of the day. Sundays, the temperatures will rise back up, however, hitting nearly the 70s. That's it for your weather forecast this week. I'm Daniel Matt. Back to you.
The 100th honor flight takes off from St. Louis Lambert Airport. Nearly 60 veterans took off early Monday morning, just before 5:30. Veterans who served in the World War II, Korean, and Vietnam Wars took off on an honor flight for a special day in Washington, D.C. The Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is the second one in the country to fly 100 missions. The group landed back at the Lambert International Airport after 8 p.m. on Tuesday.
A former Chiefs coach is sentenced in his pending DUI charge. Also, the Blues are in hot water after their 5th loss of the season. More on those after the break.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go.
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Today in the world of sports, the Cardinals have just revealed their winners for the Gold Glove Awards. Both Nolan Arenado and Brendan Donovan have received the award this year. Cardinals third baseman Arenado has now received the Gold Glove Award 10 consecutive times. The rookie Donovan is now the first National League player to win the award as a utility player. Voting for the Gold Glove Award will remain open until 10:59 tonight. After the Blues' 5th loss on Halloween, their general manager has had a closed-door meeting with the team. The Notes took on the Kings on Monday, adding another loss to their streak. This is one of the worst losing streaks since March of 2021. This is what the Blues GM had to say to the public after the fact.
Obviously, we're not in a spot where we'd like to be. We haven't been, under Craig's tenure, losing 5 in a row is something new to us and not something that we want to acquire a taste for.
The Notes have another game on Thursday against the New York Islanders. The game will be at the Enterprise Center starting at 7. Hopefully the team will be able to work on this course correction and change the tide. The ex-Chiefs coach, Britt Reed, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for drunk driving. In early February 2021, Reed was apparently going 85 in a 65-mile-per-hour zone when his truck hit 2 parked cars on a ramp. One of the victims, Ariel Young, has a traumatic brain injury. She now has trouble balancing and difficulty seeing. Reed is now in prison after pleading guilty for the crash. That's it for sports. I'm Jaden Rieksecker. Back to you.
St. Louis has dedicated $10.6 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds to a local arts commission. This becomes the 3rd largest allocation of ARPA money to arts in the country. The funds will go to the St. Louis Regional Arts Commission. The commission says they lost 60% of their revenue during the pandemic due to the drop in tourism. The money will be given out as grants to local artists and art studios. That's it for this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Ava Lawrence. Thanks for joining us.